So tonight we're going to talk about factoring. And this is just the beginning of a huge topic of factoring. But what we're going to look at today is factoring linear expressions. Now, when you factor a linear expression, it's actually factoring. Let's back up for a second. Factoring is nothing more than the reverse of the distributive property. Because if you think about it, if I gave you something like 3 times 2x plus 5, when you distribute the 3 out, what you end up getting is 6x plus 15. What you might have noticed at this point is that the 3 is actually the greatest common factor of 6x and 15. So sometimes we need to pull out that greatest common factor to be able to manipulate the expression. And that comes later down the road when you're in algebra is when you're going to need to do that. But we wanted to introduce you to the basics of factoring today. So let's take a look at some expressions that we might need to factor. For example, let's say we look at 4x plus 28. Now, if I'm looking for the greatest common factor, I'm going to take both expressions, both terms of the expression. I'm going to try to figure out the greatest common factor. Now, obviously you probably have seen it already, but let's go the long way for a second. Let's say I have 4x and 28. Those are my two terms. 4x is 2 times 2 times x, and 28 is 2 times 2 times 7. When I make my columns for the greatest common factor, I have 2 and 2, which means my greatest common factor is 4. So what I'm looking to do here is I'm going to pull out a 4. Now, here's the cool thing. When you look at your expressions, here was my 4x, here's my 4, what's left was the x. Here's the 4, what's left is the 7. So when I factor 4x plus 28 and factor out the 4, I get what's left is x plus 7. Okay, you try these two and tell me what you get. 3 plus 33x and 4x plus 35. Pause the recording and see how you would factor this. Okay, so if you did it right on the first one, you would have taken out a 3. And it would have left you with a 1 plus 11x. And yes, you absolutely need to have the 1 there. Even though you think, oh, if I pull out a 3, nothing's left. No. You need to have that 1 because you need that placeholder in the expression. There's 2 terms in that expression. There needs to be 2 terms in that parenthesis. When I look at the second one, 4x plus 35, 4x and 35 just don't have anything in common. 4x is 2x, 35 is 5 and 7. So this is, in fact, not factorable. So that's pretty much what factoring is all about. So I'm going to leave you with 2 problems that I want you to try to bring into class the next time we meet. Let's start with this one. 12x cubed plus 18x squared minus 24x. Factor that for me. And the other one I want you to factor is this. 1/3 x plus 5. All right, do those, and I'll see you later.